Okay, the purpose of this clip is to discuss the third section of the analysis paper, which is the application. And this is the final section of the paper. In this section, what you're going to do is apply the ideas that are related in the text that you have analyzed and have summarized to the current situation, to advertising today, to toys today, or to technology today. These authors are writing, let's see, in the 50s and in the 90s about their ideas, and the question for this section of the paper is, do those ideas stand the test of time? Do they still apply today? Are they valid to the current situation? So in order to prove your answer, you would start the section out by saying, you might even ask the question, do these ideas stand the test of time? And then answer that question. And then the examples that you provide following that are going to prove the validity of your idea of whether or not those ideas apply. So, for example, if you're dealing with Roland Barthes' essay, you could say that Bart is accurate in his assessment that children need more creative toys to play with because their imaginations are limited by gendered and socialized form toys. However, he fails to take into account that children's imaginations cannot be suppressed by the toys that they play with, and they have other influences in their lives that teach them how to act in adult society, such as their parents and their educators and the environment in which they grow up in. So you could explain your agreement and your disagreement to the points that Bart makes, but you want to make sure you apply those ideas by saying, let's look at toys today. And you might even go into a toy store, or we sell toys now in department stores and supermarkets, so you could just go into the toy aisle at Target or at Walmart and look at the toys that are being offered and say, what messages are we sending to children through the toys that are on the market today? Are we any better off in America in 2013 than the French were at the time that Roland Barthes wrote this essay? Have we progressed? Are we still offering children these socialized toys that shape their minds and make them users of societies rather than inventors of society? And you could take specific toys like Bratz dolls and question, what messages do these dolls that have removable feet and huge heads covered in makeup and long hair and sexualized clothing, what messages are these sending to the 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-old girls who are playing with them? I'm not really familiar with boys' toys at this point because I have 2 girls. But, look at the toys that are being marketed to boys. I notice when I'm in the toy store, in the toy aisle, that even things that are not gendered toys, it's not a baby doll or a gun, it's just a little computer, it's a little fake laptop or something. It will either have a blue and green decorative packaging or cover, or it'll have a pink and purple one. So even when we have a toy that does not suggest this is a toy for a boy to play with or this is a toy for a girl to play with, they gender those toys. They make them color-coded according to gender. They do the same thing with Legos now that they didn't do before. At any rate, these are the kinds of ideas that you want to relate when you apply the ideas of the essay. So that was just an overview of some of the things you could do with toys. With Anne McClintock's essay, just find some advertisements on YouTube. You can even Google or do the search in YouTube for advertisement bandwagon or plain folks commercial, and you will get examples of these. And just describe the commercial, identify the product, describe what happens in the commercial, and explain what propaganda techniques you see at work in that commercial. You could do that for 3 commercials and clearly establish that the ideas that Anne McClintock relates in her essays still apply to advertising today. And for Neil Postman's essay, you could take 3 of his 5 ideas. You don't have to deal with every one. You don't have to deal with every single one of Anne McClintock's techniques. But you could take 3 of those 5 ideas and show how each of them applies to a particular technology, such as smartphone technology or MP3 technology or tablet technology, or you could just deal with like the tablet and show how 3 of those ideas apply to this new technology. You know, how has MP3 technology changed everything? How has MP3 technology created winners and losers? And how has it given us something and yet taking something from us? So those are just some ideas and some illustration of how you would apply the ideas that are in these essays to the current situation. And that's basically what you're doing for the third section of the paper, is to show that you understand these ideas well enough to apply them to outside material. And once you've completed that section, you want to make sure that you have a short conclusion that speaks back to the introduction of your essay, which was, of course, just the first sentence of the summary. The other thing I want to make sure that you understand about this paper is that it needs a very creative and informative title that suggests your take on the text, because you're not going to have an extended introduction. You're going to go right into the summary, which is completely objective. So if you have your opinion in the title, and you clearly identify the text and your opinion in the title, and you have your objective summary, and you have your take, your analysis of the essay, and then you apply the ideas, then it's going to be a unified and well-organized essay. So hopefully you will be able to do all of this effectively.